He saw himself as a modern Sun King, a figure of unparalleled brilliance and power. The world in his mind revolved around him, a celestial body orbiting a star. Others were mere planets reflecting his light, their existence validated only through his recognition. This delusion, a potent cocktail of narcissism and insecurity, fueled his every move, his every word. It was a dangerous game he played, one where reality was malleable, and truth was whatever he declared it to be. His court, a motley crew of sycophants and opportunists, fed his ego with lavish praise and blind loyalty. They told him what he wanted to hear, mirroring back his distorted view of the world. Dissent was met with swift and brutal retribution, a public shaming that served as a warning to any who dared question the king. He thrived on this dynamic, the power to elevate and destroy with a whim. It was a heady drug, one that clouded his judgment and fueled his worst impulses. But behind the bravado, a flicker of doubt, a gnawing fear that the facade was crumbling, that the world was beginning to see through his charade. He clung tighter to his delusions, his voice growing louder, his pronouncements more outlandish. The loneliness of power, a suffocating weight he carried with him, a constant reminder of the chasm between his perception and reality. Manipulation was his art form, his words a weapon wielded with devastating precision. He understood the power of fear, of resentment, of the primal instincts that lurked beneath the surface of civility. He knew how to tap into these dark currents, to channel them to his advantage, to turn neighbor against neighbor, friend against friend. His rallies were masterclasses in demagoguery, a toxic brew of lies, half-truths, and thinly veiled threats. He painted himself as the victim, a righteous crusader battling against a corrupt establishment determined to silence him. He stoked the flames of grievance, feeding the anxieties of his followers, convincing them that he alone could restore their lost greatness. He offered simple solutions to complex problems, scapegoating minorities, immigrants, and anyone who dared challenge his authority. His promises were empty, his solutions unrealistic, but his words held a seductive power. He mastered the art of the dog whistle, using coded language to appeal to the darkest impulses of his base. He understood the power of repetition, hammering home his message until it became an inescapable truth. He surrounded himself with enablers, individuals willing to sacrifice their integrity for a taste of power, who echoed his lies and amplified his distortions. The Libertarian Party convention was his latest conquest, a stage where he could showcase his dominance, his ability to bend others to his will. He saw them as easy marks, a group of idealists ripe for the picking. He dangled the promise of power, whispering in their ears that together they could upend the established order and remake America in his image. He appealed to their libertarian instincts, their distrust of government overreach, their desire for individual liberty. He promised them influence, a seat at the table, a voice in shaping the future of the nation. But his promises were empty, his motives transactional. He had no intention of sharing power, of compromising his vision. He saw the libertarians as pawns in his game, tools to be used and discarded once they had served their purpose. He underestimated their resilience, their commitment to their principles, their refusal to be used as instruments of his ambition. He miscalculated, believing that his usual tactics, his bluster and braggadocio would be enough to sway them. He failed to grasp the depth of their convictions, their unwavering belief in individual liberty and limited government. His attempts at manipulation backfired, his words ringing hollow in the ears of those who saw through his charade.